everybody. It's Friday. That means it's time for Today in Media. Good afternoon. Welcome. I'm Saagar and Enjeti with my co-host Amber. We're going to look at the 5 most foolish takes in media. With the president in Asia, things are slow, but they are still working overtime. So, let's start off with Stephanie Ruhle talking about the president's tax plan that is before Congress right now.
Welsh, Jason, the White House is saying the president is, quote, encouraged by the progress here, but President Trump isn't really behind that much of this. He's not behind the delay in the corporate tax. But at the end of the day, this tax bill is written for President Trump.
Right.
He benefits from this thing right, left, and center.
Exactly. Whether you look at the House bill or the Senate bill, it's him and his friends who are going to benefit the most, and we still have questions as to whether or not that's actually going to help the economy or kill it. That's one of the reasons that he doesn't want this.
Wow. Leading question much? I mean, where do we even begin with that, Amber?
Well, yeah, first of all, this whole interview is annoying,
Right.
but the fact that they are talking about this as if it's some, huge benefit to Trump and his friends. I mean, true, they're lowering the corporate tax rate. True, they're lowering taxes on the wealthy. But let's talk about all of the benefits that middle-class people are going to get from this tax bill as well. They've done the research. They found out that every single quintile of the new 5 tax brackets will, on average, get a tax break.
Yeah.
Middle-class earners are supposed to get about $1,000 in tax breaks. So for them to paint this as something that's only benefiting the wealthy is just disingenuous.
Yeah, I think this is a tired Mitt Romney-esque talking point about, Mitt Romney's taxes, he's a heartless, blah. It's the same thing. We see it every time. Didn't really work in this case, so I think they should probably move on. But let's go next to the Associated Press. Now, you should have a tweet up on your screen which talks about how the AP is, very concerned about messing up somebody's gender identity. So, Amber, what happened?
Well, look,
yeah,
the AP sent out this tweet. They apparently misgendered someone who just won a congressional seat.
Right.
This is the latest in the line of AP being too politically correct for its own good.
Right.
You'll remember they recently decided to stop using the term illegal immigrant and have decided to use undocumented citizen.
Yeah.
So this is just them basically shunning grammar and style guidelines and just basic biology to put forth this politically correct narrative.
Yeah, this is unrelated, but I heard today that in New York City on the subway, they can no longer say ladies and gentlemen. They have to change the recordings. I wonder how many hundreds of thousands of dollars that Mayor de Blasio and Governor Cuomo are going to spend on that initiative rather than getting the trains on time. So I'll let the people of New York decide whether they would get to work on time or rather, have the horror of being misgendered whenever they get on the train to work.
The 0.2% of people who don't identify as a man or a woman.
I digress. Let's move on to Paul Krugman. So Paul Krugman had a take on the Hillary Clinton email coverage, and this is something I have seen repeatedly from a lot of leftist pundits. The tweet you have up on your screen is just a general, attempt to whitewash what Hillary did, how she used her private email server, and then put that in comparison with the worst elements of accusations against people in the GOP. Like I'm sure everybody has seen now, the accusations against Roy Moore. I saw Matt Iglesias from Vox tweeting. He's like, oh man, if only, we hadn't, but you have to understand the real scandal here is that Hillary Clinton used her email to do work stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, they're not even in the same time frame. They're not from people running for the same position. It's just this weird, trying to diminish what she did. And also the fact that he's trying to say that there's this media bias against Hillary Clinton. Excuse me, I'm pretty sure anyone who watches the news for more than 5 minutes can tell you how biased the media is against our president, Donald Trump.
This is a recycled Clinton talking point that she's made repeatedly on her faux book tour / apology tour, in which she's like, the media covered my email scandal too much. There are like 10 stories in the New York Times.
No, and you know how I know this isn't true? Because how many former Clinton campaign
Right.
managers are on CNN with full-time jobs
it's
now?
a joke.
You have Robbie Mook on MSNBC every other day,
right.
and these people make thousands of dollars every time they make an appearance, but she's going to cry media bias? I mean, really?
All right. So we'll move on. This is an even more egregious example. We've talked about this repeatedly here at the Daily Caller News Foundation, and that is the Obama amnesia that appeared when President Trump had appeared at a joint press conference with Chinese President Xi Jinping, in which he did not take questions from the press. Obviously, that's not a good thing. America should always try and advance its values of freedom of the press. However, Jeremy Diamond, a reporter for CNN, tweeted out fake news that it was the first time in 25 years an American president did not take questions, when in fact, during President Obama's first visit to China, he also did not take questions and did not manage in getting the Chinese president to take them until 2014. So it's just another example of assuming the worst of the Trump administration, of putting out a false narrative. And as you see in the two tweets that should be in front of you, is that one got, almost 1,400 retweets.
Yep.
The other one had like 32, 35.
Yep.
Diamond went out later and said, "Oh, I deleted it, etc., etc." Man, by
Damage
that
is already
time,
done.
it's too old.
It's
The
too
narrative, it's hammered in people's head. If I go and I call some of my liberal friends today, they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, did you see you didn't take any questions? I
Yep.
saw it on Twitter." They do not understand the power of the narrative that they are pushing, and that every time they do this, they diminish themselves to their opponents and only make sure that the people who are most hardcore against the president continue to subscribe to their coverage.
This also reminds me of all of the media pundits who are claiming that Obama had a scandal-free administration.
Right. Yeah.
And then you look back and you think, oh, well, there was Benghazi and the IRS scandal and Fast and Furious. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But these people are so angry
Right.
about Donald Trump being president that they just think Obama was God's gift to earth, and they can't imagine that he could have possibly done anything wrong during his 8 years as president. It's just sad that the media is so quick to forget, and this happens with just about every president, where they're always looked upon more favorably as time goes on. But gosh, we're not even a couple of years removed from the guy.
This is just a classic example of at least his heart was in the right place. That is the
Good
underlying-
intentions.
Yeah, that's it. Seriously, that's the way that these people think, is that at least his heart was in the right place. You'll be like, but he did this. This is something you vehemently disagree with. They're like, yeah, but I like him. And that tells you everything.
He's charismatic.
Yes, exactly. All right, so finally, one of the dumbest things I have ever seen published from a major national media outlet, and that is a video that USA Today produced about guns, in which it insinuated that a chainsaw bayonet could be added to an AR-15. Now, personally, I think that's awesome. But
Hey, this is America.
Yeah,
It's America.
I frankly, I don't know where I sign up. I don't know why that's not available at my local gun shop, because I would go get it tomorrow. But that's not a particularly common attachment.
No,
to a firearm.
nor a particularly useful one.
I don't really know where these people got this. Here at the
A
foundation,
video game, probably.
Yeah, here at the foundation, our working theory is that somebody Googled deadliest attachments, and it's some guy in Brooklyn or something like that who's like, "Oh my gosh, a chainsaw!" And he sends it off to the graphic designer. It's like, "We got to get this up. I mean, people are putting chainsaws on AR-15. What is happening out there in the rest of the country?" If you ever wanted to know why you can't trust people to tell you about firearms and about gun control policy, look no further than a bunch of people who think that it's practical to put a chainsaw on an AR-15. So,
Oh my gosh.
there you go. So,
I've seen few things dumber than
Yeah,
this video.
yeah.
The other part that I like to point out, which if you watch the full video, it has this very scary music in the background showing all of these different attachments you can put on an AR-15. At one point, they actually show a gunsling.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
with the scary music in the background,
Yes.
so we're all supposed to be afraid that people can, strap their
Wow.
gun over their shoulder. It's really, you should all run when you see
The
that.
easier it is to carry, the easier it is to mass murder.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
guess is
That's the
underlying
message
thing
here.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining us. That's the 5 Most Foolish Takes. I'm Saagar Enjeti with the Daily Colony News Foundation, here with my co-host, Amber Athey.